Hi folks, this is Dan Dayette of dandayette.com, and I just wanted to share with you 5 critically important things to online marketing. And in this tough day and age, if you've tried, making $1 online, if you've tried building a website for your business, whether you sell physical product, whether you have a service, or whether you're a local business, and you haven't had a lot of luck, you easily could have missed one of these 5 things. They're not common, they're not well known, and even though they sound simple on the outside, there's a whole bunch of really incredibly important little hint snips within inside those larger objects that could be making a big difference. So I hope you'll stay with me with the next 8 minutes or so, and I think you'll see that if you don't take something away from it, I'd be pretty surprised. Anyway, starting with number one, email addresses. Now, almost everybody knows you should be collecting email addresses on your website. Most people don't know why, and most people don't know how. Let me start off with the really critical why. Email addresses are just like insurance. If you don't have email address collection, let's say one day your rankings fall out of the sky. For some reason, Google will not rank your website for any search term. You could search for your actual business name, and they're not going to rank you. Something happened. You don't show up in the search engines. Secondly, let's pretend pay-per-click or Google AdWords, is now up to 10, 15, $20 a click. Competitors have swooped in. They found out that your market is incredibly competitive, and now, of course, it's a really cutthroat industry, and you can't get in there. It's too expensive. But imagine that the entire time it was easy, the entire time the industry was quiet, you've been silently collecting email addresses, and now you've got a list of 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people that's slowly grown in trickles and jumps of 20 people today, 5 people tomorrow, slowly adding up over time. And now all of a sudden you've got this big list of people to contact, and you can contact them 100% free. And any moment if you had access, if you could just push a button and send 500 people a message, imagine what you could do with that. If you could send it to 1,000 people, boom, one click of a mouse button, you can send a message to 1,000 people that have bought from you before or who are interested in what you do. Even in your local area, if you just had 200 people's email addresses, you can imagine how powerful that is. In a group of 20 people that know a few people, it makes a huge difference. Imagine what it's like. So I don't need to go any further on that. Another thing too, following up, being able to follow up on those people over and over again. One thing that most businesses don't realize is let's say, how companies can afford to spend 10, 15, $20 a click on Google AdWords. Well, the fact is that, let's say a company sells a $5 widget, and they're for some reason advertising on words that cost, $10 a click. Well, how can they make money like that? Well, I'll tell you exactly how. They make money based on lifetime value. They know that every consumer that comes through their doors that buys that $5 widget, a couple of months later, buys another thing, they're going to take that person's email address and contact info, and of course, market to them all year round. And they can actually spend their advertising dollars based on a number called the lifetime value of that customer, LTV. And so, by knowing the lifetime value of your consumer, you can obviously spend a lot more if you know that the average consumer is worth $300 a year to you, including those who don't buy, those who only buy small things, and those who buy your full-on package, whatever that top-of-the-line package is. Obviously, that all contributes. Last thing is that if you're not giving something really juicy away for your opt-in offer, an incredibly interesting report, you're probably not going to uh, have a lot of luck. Um, something like the 7 deadly secrets to, hairdressers, or the 6 things you should know about buying a computer today, or, just looking around me here, maybe it's the 6 deadly things that most people don't know about guitars, or 3 things that could happen to you tomorrow, or, 5 deadly diseases cats get, 36 incredibly poisonous plants to your cat or dog. You can go on forever, but something that's really incredible, really shocking, really useful, and that delivers on that promise and hopefully shows up the second they sign up. So that's first thing, email addresses. The second thing is credibility factor, and it's really important that you have credibility logos on your site, like for example the Better Business Bureau, testimonials, links to other websites that are very trustable, maybe even having your picture on there or a video like I'm doing myself right here. And show that you genuinely want to solve and handle the problem. Like, I mean, myself, you can see how passionate I am about online marketing. Can you imagine if you took the passion that I've got inside of myself and allowed me to use this on your project, this excitement that I have of finding any loophole I can to, find a lost dollar that you're losing, a lost, $10, $20. If you could trade $1 for 5 every time, how many times would you do it, right? I mean, the thing is that if you can show that you genuinely want to solve or handle somebody's problem, it makes a big difference. The other element is called objection handling. This is item number 3. It's amazing how many people don't realize that every product has objections. Even accounting software, when accounting software first came out, the competitor was the pencil. There is a way people are solving the problem you solve right now. Even if you're the first person to ever invent this, apple peeler, people are using a knife. And what you need to do is explain to them why your product is better than a knife. So objection handling is literally asking yourself, what are the reasons somebody wouldn't buy or subscribe, click, purchase, whatever? What are the reasons somebody wouldn't want to? And make sure you answer those questions on the site somewhere. So, those objection handling is an incredibly important thing. And another interesting thing to do is to print your website off. Go to somebody who doesn't know you, or somebody who doesn't know you have a website, and say, would you do business with these guys? Take a look at this website I just printed off. Would you do business with them? Fourth thing I should say, keyword research. If you start writing stuff on your website, and just splattering it all over the place, how do you even know if anybody's even interested in what you're writing about? What's critically important is to go to, the Google AdWords keyword tool or Word Tracker if you're serious about online marketing and want to spend some money for a membership site. These tools will tell you exactly how many people search every day, week, month, and you can find out, okay, well, there's more people searching for this than this. And it's really important that, if you're shooting into space all the time, you can obviously figure out why nobody's buying your stuff and nobody's showing up to your website, and why day after day, week after week, there's nobody at your website if there's nobody looking for what you're writing about. So, critically important to do a bit of keyword research before you start building out your content. The last thing, most critically important thing you can be doing on your website is, first of all, installing Google Analytics or some sort of stats tracking tool. Now, they're not all alike. They're not all perfect. They're not all capable of the same things. Some have goal tracking. Some have, where you can see how many people have come from this source and completed this amount of goals. So it's critically important that you find a good good analytics program. I like Google Analytics, but there are even more enterprise solutions and there are smaller ones. But it's also important that you visit that often and that you review it often, looking for where you might be losing people. If you don't know how to do that, if that sounds critically scary, even just an hour a month of somebody else's time, an expert's time, or your own time learning how to do it yourself, it's invaluable. If you could just find one area that you're losing 15% of your customers off the site, or losing 15% who are no longer interested, if you can only imagine how much money that would make you, I'm sure that you can imagine why it's worth investing somebody else or your own time in that. Now, my company and my staff are willing to look at your website and do a full-on analysis, a very simple one anyway, completely free. And there's no strings attached. If you like what we say but you don't like us, go and get somebody else to do the work. What's critically important is that you start making money, and that your website starts becoming profitable, and that your website starts to pay its own way. The bottom line question is, if your website was a salesperson, would you fire it? Because if you'd fire your website, I want you to call me. I want you to drop me a line. Thank you.